Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds
Hello
like
and welcome back to Congress Lens. I am Audrey, and after watching that exchange closely, I will say this plainly. What you just saw was not a misunderstanding. It was not a personality clash. It was not just politics. What you watched was a United States senator doing exactly what senators are elected to do. Hold power accountable. Today's clip shows Senator John Kennedy demanding clarity, honesty, and consistency from a witness whose own words raise serious concerns about credibility and objectivity. And whether you lean left, right, or center, one thing should matter to everyone. If you are testifying before Congress, your bias matters. Not your party. Not your identity. Your bias. And if you want reactions that go deeper than surface-level commentary, if you want real accountability, real analysis, and no political babysitting, then hit subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about what actually just happened here. Now let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley's, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship
Okay.
industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just
that
want to
part.
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You're trying to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question
let me
is.
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m., quote, "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance
Here
of that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question
question.
that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I
Your
read that
language?
correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and
say
other state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I
Thank you.
believe that you
Yeah,
should
the
take
time
the First
has
Amendment
expired. Thank
seriously.
you. Senator Durbin.
Let's be honest. This hearing blew up for one simple reason. The witness tried to present herself as a neutral legal authority while openly promoting extreme political conclusions. And Senator John Kennedy refused to let that slide. That is the real story. What Senator Kennedy did right. Senator John Kennedy did not attack a person. Senator John Kennedy questioned credibility. When a witness testifies before Congress, they are not invited to vent. They are there to inform lawmakers with fact-based expertise. But what did we hear? Not careful legal reasoning. Not neutral interpretation. Not constitutional clarity. What we heard were statements like the Supreme Court promotes white male supremacy, racial patriarchy, a homicide pact. Those are not legal arguments. Those are activist narratives. If you bring activist language into a congressional hearing, you should expect to be questioned like an activist, not treated like a neutral scholar. The professor tried to frame the issue as if the senator was offended. Senator John Kennedy was not offended. Senator John Kennedy was alarmed. Because when a legal scholar claims that the Supreme Court is driven by gender hatred and racial supremacy, that is not legal critique. That is ideological accusation. And here is the problem. You cannot claim professional neutrality while accusing America's highest court of systemic hatred. It does not work. You do not get both. Let's talk about the social media posts, because the witness tried desperately to pretend they were irrelevant. They were not. When you publicly say, "The majority of Americans hate women more than they love democracy," that is not scholarship. That is political radicalism wrapped in moral absolutism. And if you are testifying under oath while holding those views, then yes, you should expect senators to ask, "Can you really be impartial?" Because your online record says otherwise. The witness kept dodging, deflecting, changing the subject. And Senator John Kennedy kept pressing for one thing: accountability. Not feelings. Not social theory. Not slogans. Accountability. And when that accountability was not forthcoming, Senator John Kennedy made the most important point of all without even needing to shout it. If you cannot stand behind your own words under scrutiny, then you should not be advising the nation's lawmakers. This is bigger than one professor. This is bigger than one senator. This is about a pattern we are seeing everywhere. Radical opinions presented as expert truth. Political activism dressed up as academic neutrality. Institutions being pressured to adopt ideology instead of evidence. And the American people are tired of being told, "Do not question it. Just trust us. You are the problem." Transparency matters. Truth matters. And credibility still matters, no matter how loud the narrative gets. Senator John Kennedy did not humiliate anyone. The witness's own words did that. And the moment she was asked to defend them, she dodged, deflected, and collapsed under scrutiny. That is not leadership. That is not integrity. And that is not the kind of voice that should be guiding federal law. If you value facts over feelings, integrity over ideology, and spine over slogans, you are in the right place. This is Congress Lens. I am Audrey.